What's up? It's me. I'm back. Justin, Mr. CMB. Hope you like, subscribe, and are sharing the channel. I hope you're really doing that. It's a brand new year. I'm back off vacay, fresh. But life is a permanent vacation for me, as it should be for you. So I'm gonna get right into this video. Now, I saw an article, and I'm gonna leave the article link below about, people complaining about millennials and Gen Z, and I'm a millennial myself, about we don't like the work, we don't want to work, we don't want to work, we don't want to do this, we don't want to work hard, yada, 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 yada. And I'll say this is partially true, part of that, but I'm going to give you the real, and I'm going to give you a couple reasons why I think that, people who are boomers or Gen X, they actually have a way off base and way wrong. And I'm gonna show you why. So I'm gonna give you reasons. I'm gonna give you 7 reasons why that is not true and why Gen Z and millennials think of work differently right now. So number 1, social media. We have social media now. When I was growing up, I've been able to see when there was the beginning of social media, which was very in its infancy, to where it's at now. So I've seen the transition to, I've lived a life where there was no social media, and now you can't live without it. It's everywhere. So what we're seeing, what I'm seeing, what everybody else is seeing, what kids are seeing, they're exposed to things that you would never be able to see if you weren't there. Like, for instance, being able to see exotic cars regularly. I live in Miami, so I see it every single day. It's, a Mercedes is a daily driver. That's you're just getting started. But people weren't used to seeing Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Bentleys, McLarens, or anything like a Bugatti. You weren't exposed to this and being able to see these things every day unless you went to a store, got a car magazine, or unless you went to Google and looked it up. But now you're seeing this constantly. And people are seeing this, every single day, and they're seeing other people live lives. They're seeing other people live lives that they want to live. And they're not working as hard, whether that be physically or mentally, and they're seeing people live a lifestyle, whether it be real or fake. So I'm gonna put that out there, because a lot of people are faking their lifestyle. But people, we are seeing this. We're seeing this, and we're like, why we want that kind of lifestyle. People look at my lifestyle and they want my lifestyle, and I'm not even where I really want to be. You guys have no clue where I want to be, but these people, we're seeing this every single day. So when you're exposed to that, and now we're having overexposure, you're going to, if you're 20, 21 years old and you're working at this restaurant, or if you're working at this, you're looking at your phone, you're like, I'm wasting valuable time in my life. I can do more with my life. I can get more out of life, quality of life. And number 2, it's getting harder to get established. Contrary to what it is when boomers or Gen Xers, the value of the dollar was higher, getting access to capital was even easier. Just being able to live my grandfather was able to take care of a full family, be able to have a Monte Carlo, a Monte Carlo with chrome, Buick, a camper, a boat, a shed, and take care of a family of 4 with one job. That is not happening no more. That is not happening. Even if you're making $150,000 a year and you have a family of 4 and you're footing that bill, if it's 2 cars, if those cars aren't paid for and have car notes, if you have insurance on both of those cars, phone bills for everybody, food, groceries, you're barely getting by, if that. And that's saying if you're already, quote unquote, have a home and established. Most people getting ready to get established, they cannot afford $2,000 in rent when they're getting paid $15 an hour as a teenager. I remember you could go to Atlanta and get an apartment for $300 or $350 or $400. And that's why people I knew were getting apartments at 18, 19 years old. I moved out and got my first place when I was 19 years old. That is not happening for people at that age anymore. And even more so with the average home price, median home price being $450,000, almost $500,000. You got to understand, people who've been working 20 years can't even afford afford that by themselves. So how do you expect anyone in their 20s and even early 30s, especially if they've been working and stuff like that, suffering from inflation? Like, life is definitely not a straight line trajectory. And then you have people who don't have parents to rely on. So it's even harder for those guys. So it's just unrealistic for these people and us to be able to, get established. It was hard for me to get established, but I chose business and ownership. I chose business and entrepreneurship because I knew that was the fastest way I could make the most amount of money with my skill set. And I continue to push that because you can make a lot more money a lot faster. And that's what I think it will free most of these people. So let's get into it. Number 3, wages aren't enough. $15 an hour wasn't $15 an hour like when I was in high school. Like $15 an hour, okay, you kind of can have a little change in your pocket. I wasn't working 40 hours a week because I was selling candy and making more money doing that. But $15 an hour was at least like, okay, I can have a couple $100. I can go out to the movies. I can go out to a date. I can go out and, buy some things, save some money, maybe flip the money. It was something that you could use. Now it's no money. You can't do anything with that. With inflation, you're talking about phones that are cost over $1,000. You're talking about phone bills that the average phone bill is like $80 to $100 a month, not including like if you're talking about food prices going up, everything else. I don't even want to get into the list of things that are going up. But if you're talking about $15 an hour, $20 an hour, that is enough. That is not enough for the working adult, especially if you're living in a major metropolis area. If you're living on the coastal cities, forget it. You can forget that. Maybe this will fly in St. Louis. Maybe this will fly in Kansas City. Maybe this will fly in Tupelo, Mississippi. But this does not fly in any major city, especially coastal cities. The wages are just not enough, and you need to make more money with skill sets, trade, or anything in technology or starting a business or entrepreneurship. Number 4, we hate big companies. Like, frankly put, Gen Z, millennials, we don't like big companies. We don't like big corporations. We don't like things that's too rigid and stuck like this. Oh, we have a policy that this, and this. Like, there's no leeway. Like, I'll give you a story. 2 days ago, I was on a flight. I was headed from Panama City and I was going to DR. When I was in DR, I couldn't even get on my flight, even though I paid for the ticket, even though I showed my passport, even though I showed the bank statement with the charge. They had my information. They would not let me on the plane simply because I didn't have the physical credit card that I purchased it on me. That is a stupid policy to have. And these little things are what Gen Z and millennials, we don't give a damn about. Like, it's just like, it's a thing about fairness and good customer service. We care about that. We want to know who the CEO is. We want to know who the owner is. We don't want this big corporate brand that has these policies that has no leeway. It's stupid. Like, we think that's too robotic. We think that's too much of a control, and we just refuse to do that. Or what our parents put up with and what our grandparents put up with. We refuse any of that. Justin right here, Mr. CMB, and I'm just making this because a lot of you don't know that you can actually wholesale auction properties from anywhere in the world without spending thousands and thousands of dollars on marketing, slamming the phones, and have some sort of time freedom, being a part-time investor, making a full-time income. And I don't just mean like $10,000. You can literally legitly annually make a 6-figure income and even scale up from there and go on other avenues of real estate. Now, it's not for everybody. If you don't have a job, if you don't have any ambition, it is not for you. But if you're an entrepreneur, if you're already a business owner, or if you're someone who does have income coming in, stable income from a job or something, this is for you. Click the link below, schedule a call with me and my team, and we'll hop on the phone call, see if you're a good fit for you, and we'll just break down everything for you in detail so you have a crystal clear picture that you can actually get into this. All right, back to the video. That leads to number 5. We saw our parents get exploited. And what do I mean by that? Exploitation is because we saw our parents, like, specifically speaking, like, I've seen my parents work 40 hours a week, 2 weeks of vacation per year. That sounds like borderline slavery to me. Just to make enough money to barely get by. Maybe we take 1 family vacation a year, possibly 2 during the summer. But outside of that, No, there was no freedom. It was live for the weekend, Jesus Christ is Sunday, and then back to the grind Monday. And I've seen them do this for decades. And I'm like, if this is life, I don't want any part of that. I don't want any part of that. That's why when I was like 15, 16, I was doing mail order stuff. I was doing anything to make more money because I was like, this life cannot be mine. Like, they were working for a paycheck. Then what I've seen friends, family members, I've seen family members of my own, they work for 20, 30, 40 years and they don't really have anything. And I don't mean just like home ownership. I don't mean just that, but just like where they can just sit back and like relax and live life. Like they didn't really live life. And I'm like, these companies are exploiting you. We grew up seeing this and we were like, we're taking no part of that. We're not going to get involved in that. We're not going to sacrifice our life, our one chance at life, to slave away for big companies who don't give a damn about any of us. We've seen that and we refuse to do that. The juice isn't worth the squeeze, even to the point that we're willing to, make less, move somewhere else and enjoy a quality of life than actually being able to, go and work for this big corporate company, 50, 60 hours a week and make more money and just be miserable just so we could buy things that we don't need. We refuse to do that, which is why we pursue entrepreneurship, which is why we pursue business ownership. So that's why we do that. We don't agree with that. And reason number 6, it segues into it. We want quality of life. Like we prefer quality of life over quantity. Like our thing is we don't mind working really hard, but then we want time just to live life. Like, I was gone for 2.5 weeks just because it was the holidays. And then I left the country, when country happened. And just because like I needed to live some life. I needed to gather more stories. I needed to gather more ideas. I need to think. When you're constantly like working. And mind you, I love what I do. I love to work, but I take time to think. Because one thing I'm noticing as a pattern in my life and as a pattern I've studied like multimillionaires or even millionaires that I've known is they take time and they think things through. They take a step back just to think. And that's how they get their best ideas and able to execute. And plus they are able to have a reset. So they recharge. And that's one of the things that I've noticed is like, we value quality of life. Like we would rather just, work 6 months out of the year and 6 months we could just do whatever. Or we're willing to work, 10 months out of the year, but 2 months to where we could just really live life, like enjoy life. And that doesn't mean just going to clubs, smoking weed, shooting the shit, like not doing anything, but actually doing things that people enjoy, like doing things that they actually love. Maybe if we want to do photography, maybe we want to just, make music. Maybe we want to just like do some research on ancient sites. Maybe we want to just go check out different beaches in different places. Or maybe we want to just check out how's it like to stay here for like a couple weeks. Like we value that. Better food, time with actually people, because one thing one thing I noticed is we don't, growing up, we spent time together, but the quality time wasn't as much as it should be. And the reason why is because we don't want to be pulled and our lives dictated by a paycheck and corporations taking over that. We just don't agree with that. And with the internet, you don't have to agree with that because there's so many different ways you can escape that. And number 7, which is the biggest one, the boomers sucked everything out of the economy. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail about this, but they sucked up the pensions. They sucked up the value of everything. The majority of the business ownership in America. They own majority of the businesses in America, and that's been exploited. Like they've sucked the economy dry and left us to rot. And then they're pointing the finger like you don't work hard enough. And they've had it way easier. And I'll leave some articles down below. But these are the reasons why Gen Z and millennials, they won't want to do this old school, like corporate thing no more. Like this thing is dying and it's pretty much on its last leg. And I'm gonna tell you guys now, 10 years from now, this whole 5-day work week, 40 hours thing, it's not going to exist. It's not going to exist. It started in 1926, and we're damn near 2 years away from that 100-year mark from when it started. And honestly, I don't think we even have 10 years left. To be honest, I think before the end of this decade, we're going to see the world of work. It's already changed, but we're going to see more pushback, more people, fighting these corporations, be like, look, we need to work remote. We're just not going to do this type of lifestyle. Granted, there are jobs that do need people physically there, but you're going to see majority of society just push back on that and just not agree with that. And you're going to see the world change. It's changing right now as I speak. So if you like this video and you like what I'm talking about, or you don't like what I'm talking about, click the link below, like, comment, share, subscribe. I want to know your thoughts. What do you think? Am I right? Am I wrong? Which I'm probably right because I'm leaving facts, but I just want to know your opinion. So drop a comment below. Mr. CMB, want to educate you. I want to get you money. I want to make people at least $100,000, $200,000 this year by watching this channel. Got some products below. I'm out. Peace.